When Joseph Sakar, an electrician living in the quiet neighborhood of Triplicane in Chennai, stepped out onto his terrace one early morning, he had no idea his life was about to change. It was just another ordinary day. Like always, he made himself a cup of coffee and opened the terrace door to let in the crisp morning air. But something immediately caught his eye. A splash of unexpected green in the corner of the terrace. Curious, he walked closer and saw them. Four small, bright green parakeets, sitting silently together. Parakeets are a common sight in India, especially in coastal areas like Chennai, but something about these four was different. They didn't fly away as he approached. They didn't move much at all. And when Joseph looked closer, he realized they were injured. Their feathers were ruffled, and their wings hung low. They looked weak, tired, and scared. Just days earlier, a powerful typhoon had swept through the city. Many homes were damaged, families displaced, and clearly, the birds hadn't escaped the storm either. Moved by compassion, Joseph didn't hesitate. Though he had never cared for birds before, he brought them plain rice and a bowl of water. The birds chirped softly and quickly ate. It was clear they were starving. So he continued to feed them. Days turned into weeks, and the birds remained on his terrace. Slowly, under Joseph's care, their strength returned. Their feathers grew bright again, and their eyes lit up. They began to flutter, to hop, and eventually to fly. Short distances at first, then bold, sweeping loops around the terrace. Joseph watched them quietly, a proud smile on his face. They weren't just birds anymore. They were his friends. Word of Joseph's unusual guests began to spread through the neighborhood. Locals would stop to watch the cheerful green birds darting around. Many praised Joseph for his kindness, saying the world needed more people like him. But not everyone was supportive. Joseph's landlord soon got wind of the situation and was far from happy. He gave Joseph an ultimatum: either make the birds leave or leave the apartment himself. Joseph tried to explain. They were wild animals, not pets. He hadn't trained or trapped them. He simply offered help when they needed it most. But the landlord refused to listen. One morning, Joseph stepped outside and found the four parakeets sitting silently on the terrace fence. They seemed to sense what was happening. One by one, they spread their wings and flew off, not looking back. Joseph watched them go, a lump rising in his throat. He gave a small, bittersweet smile. He had done his part. He had helped them heal. And now it was time to let them go. But life had something extraordinary in store. Just a couple of weeks later, the birds came back, and they weren't alone. First, it was just a few more, then dozens, then hundreds. It was as if those first four parakeets had spread the word. This terrace was safe. This man could be trusted. Soon, Joseph's terrace became a sanctuary. Bright green feathers filled the air every morning and evening as the birds arrived in waves, chirping joyfully, crowding the rails, the walls, and even the steps. Within a year, hundreds of parakeets visited daily. During the rainy season and cyclones, the numbers swelled, sometimes over 6,000 birds huddling together on the terrace. They came for food, for shelter, for peace. And Joseph? He kept feeding them. Rain or shine, he set out trays of rice, filled bowls with water, and welcomed every single one. His landlord still wasn't pleased. But Joseph no longer cared. The bond he shared with these birds, a connection built on pure kindness, was something he wasn't willing to give up. People started calling him the Birdman of Chennai. Passers-by would stop and stare at the incredible sight. Thousands of parakeets perched side by side, chirping and fluttering in the air like green confetti. But for Joseph, it was never about the fame. It was always about doing the right thing. What began with a quiet act of compassion for four injured birds had grown into something beautiful, something magical. And it all started with one man, one terrace, and one simple act of kindness.